Trump have to do with the forest ban? Trump has no control over Nova Scotia. This is how brainwashed a lot of Canadians are.
Disrupted.
Weird thing to happen. Well, the hiking ban in Canada, particularly in Atlantic Canada, but it seems to be growing and growing in other parts of the country, has become so alarming that even James O'Keefe did a breakdown of this. James O'Keefe, who does excellent work kind of behind the scenes. He does these, undercover kind of investigations where he poses as a date and exposes these top billionaires or insiders for their wrongdoings. Remember, he did the one for Pfizer executive. I thought I was on a date. I was lying. Of course we're not manufacturing goop. I'm not. I'm just lying because I thought we were on date. That's still my favorite. The comedy gold when you catch these perps. So James O'Keefe did this deep dive, and I'm gonna show you the video attached to this, but he did this deep dive because he went to Atlantic Canada. He went into Nova Scotia. Says police called after O'Keefe walks into Nova Scotia woods to expose the $25,000 hiking ban. Says, we're going into the woods, James O'Keefe said on camera, documenting his experience in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, where signs warned, stay out of the woods, $25,000 fine. O'Keefe added, we'll see whether the local authorities enforce this absurd law, which is a violation of human rights and human dignity, referring to restrictions recently imposed under Nova Scotia's Forest Act. On August 5th, the province announced a ban on nearly all outdoor activity in forest areas, including hiking, camping outside designated campgrounds, fishing, and even trail use, with violators facing fines up to $25,000. Officials justify the move as a wildfire protection measure during one of the driest summers on record, effectively criminalizing everyday activities like dog walking or even building sandcastles near wooden shorelines. So, it is barbaric. We stated this before, it is barbaric what Tim Houston, the Premier of Nova Scotia, is doing to Canadians. They're barring Canadians from having a summer. Having a summer, which, in Canada, is very short. It's very short to enjoy the summer months. And Tim Houston is barring people from this because he's concerned about wildfires, while at the same time refusing to investigate the spontaneous wildfires, stopping the wildfires from continuing on, and recently announced the spraying of glyphosate onto these forest areas, which is a flammable chemical in forest areas. He's spraying that into the wooded areas. So this is alarming for a lot of reasons, and James O'Keefe is going to deep dive into this, but I want to show this first. So Nikki Vero says the Liberals have banned citizens from going into specific parts of the woods under penalty of a fine of $25,000 to $150,000 or jail time because of the supposed forest fires and the climate. That was Newfoundland, Labrador. They want $150,000 and jail time just for stepping into the woods. But what most citizens don't know, those same areas are beginning or have just been cleared for lithium mining. And we've shown that before, that as the wildfire started, people were exposing that prior to this, Nova Scotia reversed a ban on lithium mining and uranium mining. And considering that Mark Carney passed Bill C-5, which overrides authorities, provincial authorities, and local authorities to extract the minerals, to go after resources, to build these hyper projects like EVs, the EV car mandate that Canada is so desperate to have. There's a connection here. And it makes you wonder if these wildfires are intentionally set and people are purposely banned from the forest areas because we know that they've been going around surveying where the uranium is. And notice that the wildfires and uranium are in the same place, in the similar place. Go figure. He says that's had nothing to do with the fires and climate, but lands grabbing and mining. Once again, you can't make this up. And here, the Nova Scotia Fire Department, Firefighters Department, did this press release. So here is that they did a press release. Halifax professional firefighters voiced strong concerns over wildfire management and post-incident analysis. So the firefighters are angry at the premier. The firefighters. And saying how ridiculous it is to ban people from the forest when deliberately the premier, at the same time, worried about forest fires, is cutting back on the resources to prevent the further catastrophic damages of forest fires. They're cutting back on firefighting services to stop the fires. Go figure. Go figure. It just seems too much of a coincidence for all this to be happening. Just like we saw with Maui, just like we saw with California, just like we saw with Jasper. Seems too much of a coincidence that we're seeing this constantly over and over again, that a natural disaster occurred. We have to put these harsh restrictions onto people to protect them. And then we're finding out information that prior to all this, they do legislation to excavate these critical minerals that are necessary for the measures of like electric vehicles. That uranium goes into this business empire of AI and technology. So here's James O'Keefe going into the forest. Bit of the expose. I don't know if I could show all of it for copyright reasons, but here's just a little sneak peek.
For the OMG, and this is walking into the Canada woods on purpose for a $25,000 fine. There it is right there. Stay out of the woods. $25,000 fine. Oh, there's a DSLR worker. There's a worker right there. What happens if we go in there? $3,000 fine. We don't have anything to start a fire, though.
Doesn't matter. You want to break the law.
Did you hear the guy there? That's from the Department of Natural Resources in Nova Scotia. Well, we don't have. James O'Keefe saying that he doesn't have anything to start a fire. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's the law. You have a problem with it? Go talk to Trump. What does Trump have to do with the forest ban? Trump has no control over Nova Scotia. You know who does? Tim Houston, the progressive conservative. You know who does? Mark Carney. We have our own politicians. No. Go talk to Trump. This is how brainwashed a lot of Canadians are. A lot of Canadians are like that. You got a problem with the things that are operating here? You got to talk to Trump. Trump has nothing to do with any of this. Trump has nothing to do with this whatsoever. Except our heinous politicians that people clearly ignore.
So here in Nova Scotia, they've actually banned hiking due to a burn ban. They're going to fine you $25,000 for going hiking in Canada. Let's see what happens. There's also a bunch of Karens walking along the boardwalk. A lot of snitches. Snitches get stitches.
I saw these two gentlemen. They're gone in the woods. They have backpacks.
Okay, I'll send the officers over here shortly. Thanks for calling.
All right, thank you.
Cape Breton Regional Police. It's a wrap.
So, literally, they have snitch lines. I don't know if people know that. They literally have a phone line where you can contact police if you suspect anyone walking into the forest. You can snitch on them to the authorities. The reason I get very angry about this, folks, the reason I get very angry is because this is the exact same measures, the exact same, almost verbatim, that we experienced through COVID. Remember there were snitch lines you could call the police if someone was outside with their family enjoying the day because they're not 6 feet apart, or they walk into a restaurant without a mask. Remember those days? Remember you could call the police and snitch on them and hopefully get them arrested for violating the mandate laws that made no sense? Well, now, here we are in 2025, and they're doing the exact same. The exact same. You can call people up. Oh, I see people walking in the forest with backpacks. And they're getting the police to respond to this. It's so insane. It's so insane. How can no one look at this and think of how insane it is that we went through this and we're just repeating history? And you get the same idiots that, again, just like with COVID, that scream about people that do walk in the forest. I don't care about your rights. I don't care about your choices. I want to feel safe. I want to feel safe from the wildfires. That was my Scott Reed impression, by the way. I hope people enjoyed that.
So we've arrived in Nova Scotia, Canada, and we're driving down the highway, and it says stay out of the woods. And then it says it's a burn ban, $25,000 fine. If you go into the woods, we are going into the woods. So the man, Jeff, actually did this, and I thought about doing this, but then I saw Jeff's story, and I figured, hey, I should do that.
We've issued $25,000 fines for going into the woods.
I'm just going to make this as painless as I can for those guys.
And the fine is $20,872.50.
We'll see whether the local authorities enforce.
So just to remind people, that was Jeff Evely. That was the guy that sparked the internet, that went into the woods. He told the authorities he was going to do this out of protest because he was against Tim Houston's ruling on this, and he was charged over $28,000. The original fine is $25,000, but he was charged over $28,000 because of fees and taxes. Victim fees and taxes on a charge for walking in the forest. I didn't realize you're victimizing people from walking into nature, enjoying the day, enjoying the biodiversity, getting that fresh oxygen. Again, just as psychotic that COVID was, it's repeating through this. And now they're using the excuse of forest fires and climate change as their new rhetoric, as their new scare tactic. Hey, this guy that's hiking through the trails that just has a backpack of water. Oh my God. He's gonna do something. It's gonna affect my health. It's gonna affect my town. How dare you? How dare you? I don't care about your freedoms. Anyway, let's see more of this.
This absurd law, which is a violation of human rights and human dignity. We have no fire starters on us. Nothing can start a fire. I do have my trekking poles, my backpacks, and my hidden cameras, unless they arrest me, which we're in Canada, so it's certainly possible. But we're here in the woods. It's a very overcast day. It's going to rain. So the question is, are they going to give us a $25,000 ticket while it's raining? Okay, so we've been in the woods for about...
Yeah, supposedly it's been raining the last couple of days, and they still have not lifted the ban.
There's a good chance that someone's going to snitch on us. No, there's actually a snitch line where Canadians rat on other Canadians if they see hikers. Apparently, somebody snitched on us.
I just have a little concern. Is this the number that you call if people are like hiking or like in the woods then they're not supposed to be?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm at Petersfield in Westmount, and I saw these two gentlemen. They're gone in the woods. They have backpacks. They have these poles, like the trekking poles, I believe they're called.
I feel like we're smuggling contraband.
Oh my God, they have backpacks and they have poles and they're walking. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have to be in a scared tone. I feel like this is like a Dateline episode. I don't know what's gonna happen. Wow. If I was on the other end of that call, no offense, if I was on the other hand of that call, I would just hang up. I would just hang up. I would be so outraged, ridiculous, and embarrassed to take a phone call from somebody. Oh my God, there's men walking into a provincial park, hiking. Ah, you gotta do something. Give me a break. With all the crime that's happening, with everything that's going on, you want officers to drop everything they're doing to harass people taking a hike in a forest. How crazy that is. How crazy that is. Just like how Doug Ford, our premier, our progressive conservative premier in Ontario, harassed all the policings around the province, demanding them to harass people that were violating the lockdown laws. Hey, you're not staying indoors. You can catch a cold. You gotta crack down those people. And every policing said no. Every policing defied Doug Ford's orders because they knew how ridiculous it was. That's what Nova Scotia police should be doing. That's what the Halifax police should be doing. But they're getting mandated by Tim Houston, and maybe because they're corrupt, maybe because, I don't know, but it just seems so crazy. Let's see a bit more of this.
Into Canada.
The one guy, he's tall, probably about 6'2". He's wearing like some bluish gray pants, navy blue long sleeve. It's just ridiculous. Like, clearly they're not supposed to be in there. Like,
Yeah, no, you should totally get that rain. Any vehicles or anything, do you know?
I don't know. I like saw them walking in there and they had like backpacks and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay, I'll send the officers out here shortly. Thanks
Just
for calling.
speed this
all right,
up a
thank
bit.
you.
Cape Breton Regional Police, it's a wrap.
So there's the police showing
They
up.
apparently haven't banned birdhouses here. Like, are they a burn hazard? Oh wait, we have an update. Yes. Jeff.
The cop just left.
He just left. The cop just left?
The cop.
Yeah.
So the woman called, the cop showed up, and the cop just left because there's nothing. Again, such a big waste of time. Such a big waste of time for law enforcement to do this. For law enforcement to show up because a frantic, paranoid woman is on the phone because people are hiking. If I was that officer, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed. Your job is supposed to serve and protect the community and fight against crime. And you go out when a frantic woman is calling about two people walking in the woods, and you just leave. I'd feel embarrassed. I'd feel embarrassed that I had to go through that.
We care about our boys, James.
This is how. So they've abandoned mission.
Yeah.
So they called the cops. The cops come, and apparently the cops walked in a little bit, kind of gave up, and left 10 minutes later. So we were expecting to get fined $25,000. There has been no fine, but there are some Department of Natural Resources people. We're going to keep walking along this path and see what else happens. What is the difference between these woods and the woods back there? Don't know. Couldn't tell you. We're almost out of here, but we're not out of the woods yet.
There's some the routes are blocked off. You'll see the tape across it.
But we can be here on
Yes,
this
we
path.
can be here on this trail.
What's the difference between this trail and that trail?
That's a good question.
Do you know if they're snitching on people?
Don't know that either.
They're calling the police and stuff like that?
Are they?
I heard about that.
Oh, I never heard that.
Again, this is just as dense as the other. Oh, there's a DSR worker. There's a worker right there. There's a worker right there. Hey there. Do you know where the band's off hiking? You're not allowed to go in there? What happens if you go in there? 25,000? That's a lot of money. What's the reason? Fires? We don't have anything to start a fire though.
Doesn't matter. You want to make the law.
Talk to Trump?
What?
About bringing the law? Not a,
Again,
yeah, he's a
oh
lawbreaker,
my
right?
God.
All right, have a good day.
Just the utter idiocy of people like this. Yeah, you can't go into the forest area. Fires. That's the reason. You have a problem with that? Talk to Trump. What? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? It's so just insane. It's so just insane. And how they coordinate off, even James O'Keefe pointing out that certain trails are okay, but not other trails. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. There is no logic to it. But there is logic if you want to calculate and cause a wreckage to certain areas that you're investigating, looking for critical minerals underneath. That makes a lot more sense than banning people from the forest because walking causes fires. The upward lunacy of this. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a Canadian to look at this. It's embarrassing. It's hurtful. It's just downright disgusting. And it's damaging. Because as we showed this before, that all these forest bans is actually affecting tourism in Nova Scotia. A lot of people are refusing to go to Atlantic provinces now because, hey, how can I go and enjoy vacation and enjoy the beauty of this country, which is a lot of beautiful spots? Canada is a wonderful place. But how can I go enjoy it if I'm going to get a $25,000 fine for stepping foot in a wooded area? And if you know a lot about Nova Scotia, there's a lot of forest area. You go to Newfoundland, a lot of forest area. New Brunswick, a lot of forest area. Ontario, a lot of forest area. There's a lot of trees around all across Canada. So for them to ban you from the forest and just say, the reason is fire. You got a problem with that? Go talk to Trump. It's just so insane. It is so insane that the world needs to be aware of this. The world needs to be aware of it. That's why I'm so glad James O'Keefe did this on top of Jeff Evely. Even though he's a Nova Scotia resident, James O'Keefe doing this and showing his audience, showing America this, should be a wake-up call. Should be a wake-up call. Because everything they've done through COVID, all the ridiculous mandates, the torture, the psychological malfeasance they did to people, they're doing it with this. They're doing it with this. They're getting people to snitch on each other. They're banning people from stepping foot in the forest, hiking, fishing, camping, swimming in lakes. Apparently being surrounded by water also creates fires. Did you know that? That defies all laws of physics and science, but hey, we're just gotta trust the science. It's literally embarrassing. It's literally embarrassing, and it's hurting a lot of people. It hurts a lot of people. You ban them from a forest area. You ban them from being around trees and nature. The beauty of going through a hike through a forest is you're surrounded by biodiversity, which is good for human health. It's good for the mind. It's good for your physical health. You're breathing in fresh oxygen. And you're going to bar people from that because of a vague response to fire. Oh, there's a lot of forest fire. Well, maybe you should deal with the forest fire and figure out why it's starting. Because we know that there's an arson problem happening in this country that isn't being addressed. And now we also know that there's ties to lithium mining and uranium mining. So it seems more plausible that this is all intentional for further destruction of the province of Nova Scotia to extract minerals to be sold out to giant corporations and be used for electric vehicles and AI smart facilities than is to bar people from a forest area because of fire. It seems more plausible that Tim Houston is self-destroying his own province for the benefit of private equity and corporations to extract minerals. Again, you look at all these natural disasters that occurred recently, from the Maui wildfires to Jasper to California to the hurricanes in North Carolina. You notice that there's a trend. You notice that there's a trend. As people start investigating where these natural disasters are occurring, why they're occurring in these areas, and you look at the background and the aftermath. You look at California, for example, Gavin Newsom is cheery that foreign investors are buying up beachfront properties that are burnt to ashes. And they're buying it at a cheap rate. Why? Because they're burnt down. So it just goes looking beyond the headline, not being that frantic woman, but looking beyond the headline to realize that your governments are abusing you in this matter. And the reason I get so angered about this, I get more angered about this than anything, is because this is exactly the same verbatim language that we heard about with COVID. Exactly the same. And COVID, the lockdowns are only a couple of years ago. And people forgot about that. People forgot how crazy it was. They just want to go through this again for wildfires. It's just a sinister psyop.